So good morning. Figured jump in here now. We've got the Kabam Livestream coming up in about 2 hours. Wanted to get a little bit of arena in. We're done with Alliance Quest for the week, which is great. I like day 5, kind of one of my favorite days. I don't mind Alliance Quest. It is not hard, but it's also nice when it's done. And I think also we've got hero use going on, so we're going to go ahead and run through our upper 5 stars, our upper 6 stars, throw in our 7 stars. Probably get close to being done with the featured arena. I think I'll have to do another run of a couple of my 6 stars. So just going to kind of jump in if there's time before the stream. I got a couple runs through the side quests that I've got to complete before the timer runs out next Wednesday, so a few days left there. So just going to kind of jump in, get started. If anybody joins, we can discuss the upcoming Kabam Twitch live stream. Figure there's going to be some other content creators with kind of doing rebroadcasts of those. I don't know if any of them offhand, but we'll look and find out. Other than that, this is kind of a down day. War's finishing up. We'll have another one that'll start tonight. Still recoils off because we've got placement for that war that starts sometime tonight. Not sure exactly what time that is. I know it's about 6 o'clock, something like that, but I just kind of have resigned myself to leaving recoils off until the season's over. Occasionally may throw them on. From the sounds of things, we are going to get 8.3 coming up next month. So it is highly possible that I will turn recoils back on and just toss them on and off throughout the upcoming couple weeks. It's just kind of a waste of units, and really wish that I've said it before that there was some presets and I'm just getting destroyed. I am not a Quake player at all. And quaking Tigra is not something I want to do very often. And once again, like other days, I'll apologize if you hear a bunch of Windows notifications and things like that. That is my work computer. Unfortunately, I do have to keep it on. Do kind of have to keep an eye on it from time to time while I'm not quite at work yet. I have put a couple hours of work in, and there's going to be people that are coming in that are going to respond to emails and messages that I sent out previously. So, just kind of bear with me. I apologize if you hear them. And I also apologize for my dog that you may hear in the background. She's barking at somebody at the door at the moment. Most likely an Amazon driver. Not a whole lot going on today. I'm kind of a little bit on the tired side, but figured I'm going to do this anyway. Might as well stream it, see if anybody wants to jump in and join, and just kind of grind through it with me. Put it on in the background, do whatever. My guess is you'd have to be really bored to jump in here and want to do this unless you're also grinding arena or doing one of your 50 runs of the side quests that you've got to complete if you want to kind of do everything and get everything completed. Am looking forward to hopefully later today should come today. The Caps commissary should get an update, and be right back. Oop, and there we go. And sorry about that. My wife had come in. So anyway, looking forward to the Caps commissary update later on today. Hoping that their loyalty bundle is finally in there. Won't get me to the 7-star Civil Warrior quite yet. Still may have to purchase a few other things, kind of holding off until we see what that deal is, see if you can get more than one of them. I do have roughly 5 million loyalty stored up, so I'm hoping that is the case, that you can get more than one, which would be really nice. Do not like that grouping of champs to fight. So anyway, we'll have to wait and see. My guess is, it's going to cost somewhere 2.5 to 3 million loyalty, which means I won't be able to get it right away. I'll have to wait a little bit, or quite a bit for the second one. Maybe there'll be a deal for the first one, where it's a little bit cheaper in the commissary store. Not really sure there yet. Would be good if they would announce it, ahead of time. I've not been a big fan of the way they've done this whole event. The staggered release of deals, the not sure what deals are coming when, the deals in that second series, I guess would be good for some. I don't like them. I didn't buy any of them. I think the only deal that I've bought so far was maybe the 2 to 3 gem for like 2 million gold, and just mainly because I have a fair amount of gold from doing things like grinding arena. So, not sure really what to expect from this next one. Not sure what to expect price-wise. We'll see. And for an older champ, one that's been around for a while, I still really hate fighting Iron Man Infinity War. For one, I did not get any Loas there. Yay, I'll be able to get one poison on. And still, then that's the other downside with fighting with Dr. Voodoo. I love Voodoo. I love fighting with him. I love his animations. A lot of people don't. But the RNG nature of getting the lowest placed is just really bad. He is worse in a lot of cases, RNG-wise, than AA. AA, at least even with bad RNG, you can get some bleeds on, and, may take a while for poisons and things like that. But with Voodoo, his damage is so greatly reduced when you don't get the Loas placed and you can't convert them into, the poisons and things like that. It is, he can do a lot, and I really like him in buff heavy fights. But, against somebody like IMIW, who the armor ups are passive, probably could have used him against one of the other champs in there that had some active armor ups and active buffs. But, like I said, don't like fighting IMIW. So, I kind of tend to use, or try to use, damage over time champs, so that last 15% I don't have to deal with, you know, his auto block and baiting out heavies. I can just kind of sit back and let the dots do the damage. And this magic is getting limbo every single time. I think I fought this one last night. It was the same thing every time over a bar of power. Not much of an issue, not hard to deal with, just a pain. Makes the fights longer, and already doing this without recoils, they're long enough. And the other thing, I know I said it yesterday as well, they really, really need to crank up the aggressiveness of fights in arena. Some of them are so slow, and you have to wait so long for them to throw specials. It's rare that I find that they throw a special fairly quick. Let's see. Come on. So we'll get through these 5 stars. We'll run our upper 6s. And depending on time, we may do, like I said, the side quest. Do have 2 runs to complete there. You know, don't really need them, but, you know, I guess it gets me 100 7-star shards. Not a whole lot, but, you know, maybe the difference between, you know, being able to open one, you know, or not eventually. So we'll I messed that up. I was gonna sit back and wait for the charges to build up on Hulkling and do a special 2 into the block, but at 7% health on champion, it wasn't something that was needed. Okay, gotta turn the volume down on that just a little bit. Oops. And Mephisto is another one of those champs that I would love to see just buffed a little bit. Just give him a little bit more damage. You know, what he does well. You know, blocking the debuffs or blocking buffs from, you know, activating on who he's fighting, you know, at the start of the fight. It's nice, but, oops, didn't mean to parry there. But not my favorite thing. You know, his damage is really low. You know, running recoils, you know, it does make a huge difference with him and, you know, many other champs as well. You know, Gilly 99 here being one of those. And, oh, there we go. On the 5th hit, I get my phase. You know, if I was fighting against her that first hit, she would have phased. Did it again. Did not mean to parry him. Let's see if we can finish him off here. No, I'm going to die before. Crazy. Absolutely crazy. I hate running without recoils. The damage is so low. I'm going to sound like a broken record doing that here before too long. All right, come on, Doom. Throw your special. Throw it, please. You're going to catch me in a backup or something, aren't you? Oh, yeah. There we go. And then a passive magic. My guess is she'll get fights where I don't mind if she gets a limbo. She doesn't get it. Her limbo feeds the plasma charges on Havoc. Just kind of speeds that whole process up. But shouldn't matter at this point. That's how fast fights in Arena should be. Either that or give me an auto fight option. Better than the AI that is in the auto fight for quests. I am going to have to start, speaking of auto fighting in the Apothecary. Just in case we need revives for 8.3. I'm actually looking forward to that. I've liked, probably contrary to what a lot of people feel, I've really liked 8.1 and 8.2. Content's been, I think, better tuned for me. I know there's people that want it to be a lot harder. I don't mind the difficulty level. I've had to use some items, but it hasn't broken the bank. It's not a Abyss caliber level where I knew I was too late on that. It takes 300 revives to get it done. I hate fighting Scorpion. Especially once he gets a couple poisons or something on, you can't use specials, and yeah. And sounds like my wife is leaving. You hear the garage door going up and down. Apologize if you heard that. And now here we go. Let's see how long it takes Hulkling to throw a special. It wasn't too bad. And then, of course, I walk right into it because I wasn't paying attention. Fights are so long. And now he's unblockable. Now we have to bait out a special for 20 minutes. We have to go through his indestructible. And finally down. For the most part, with the 5 stars, I do try to do some synergy teams as well. I know a lot of people don't. And there's times that I'll just do the quick fill of the team. But there's a couple synergy teams that I just kind of like playing around with. This is one of them with, oops, did not mean to parry there, with Kingpin and Sinister. You kind of get the power lock on specials, which of course got cleansed. Now I'm just going to keep going. See if a special one will kill him. That did. Good. And bait this out. Should finish him off. Pretty quick and easy fight there with Nova. And let's see, got a few more rounds. I do have to finish leveling up. I took Doom up to R5 just to have even teams for when I run my 5 stars. You know, I can just run the R5s. Gives me a good set of even teams at R5. You know, not that it really mattered too much, but you know, I was running out of. I had a couple T2A, T5B, and Overflow that were getting ready to expire. Didn't really feel like taking up a 6-star, another, you know, R1 to R2 or R2 to R3. So figured I'd give myself even teams. I still need to do one more R3 to R4. Oops. Probably not the best matchup here. And I'm just going to leave the camera off for right now. It's going to be one of those mornings. My wife is in and out and keeps wanting to talk.
Either I go there every 3 days or we're going to move on.
Okay, I'm back again. Apologize. Like I said, one of those mornings. Let's see if we can finish him off here. There we go. Morningstar's not great, but she is good in a few fights. If you can get a few buffs up, throw that special too, it can wreck some things. Alright, a couple more rounds here, then we'll jump over to do the 6 stars. I hate, hate, hate. Yeah, there we go. Probably not the best matchup for taking Mr. Fantastic, but hopefully it'll make these other ones a little bit easier. There's just so many annoying champs to fight, especially in arena. You know, this guy being one of them. Oh, come on. Jeez. Luckily his health pool isn't very much, but you know, I'm not a big fan of the champs that you can't parry their initial medium. You know, that it's considered a range attack. Or this guy, where you can't medium into him. At least here in arena, you can light attack or parry and then light attack. A few more rounds, we'll get a little bit over 3 million. We'll have to run one more set of 5 stars at some future date and time. Not sure exactly when. I don't think it'll probably be later today off stream. You know, speaking of schedule coming up, probably not going to do any streams tomorrow. I have a work trip coming up to California for a week and have to prep for it. Then Sunday I fly out, so not a whole lot of time to do anything there. So, and I think I'm going to try Monday morning from the hotel that I'm at and see if I can stream there. We'll see how it goes. Depends on the connection. You know, really wanting to get into a consistent schedule of doing some streams in the morning. I know, you know, it's not going to be the greatest for a lot of people to join in. Understand that completely. About the only people up are, you know, a few folks on, you know, the East Coast, European friends, you know, things like that. Going to miss, you know, a large portion of the population, as it's only, you know, a little bit after 7:30 Pacific time right now. But you know, I have to do it when fits best in my schedule. And since I work with people that are in Mountain and Pacific times, it's very rare that I have meetings early in the morning. Very rare that I do a whole lot before lunch. Most of my workday is from, there we go, should have the invulnerability up. Most of my workday is from about, you know, noon to 6, 7, 8 o'clock Eastern time. And good morning, Vital. How's it going? Appreciate you stopping by and hitting like. Looking forward to the live stream here in about an hour and a half. Maybe they'll let me get lucky again and win another 7-star. Doubt it. Would be nice, but I'm just more interested in seeing the loyalty bundle. Not sure who I want out of there yet. You know, would love Void. Save me ranking. I was hoping he was coming in. Would save me ranking up my rank 3 to rank 4, which I will probably do anyway. You know, Void, well, he doesn't 100% require that awakening, at least for defense. Oh, come on. And he didn't come in again. It would be, if I was going to use Void on attack, even as a 7-star R2, would really want that awakened ability. Fear of the Void is just such a powerful function of, and is where a lot of the damage comes from too, and the heal reversal and things like that. Mordo would be fun. I think he would be annoying as hell as a rank 2 7-star. His normal power gain plus the power gain that he gets, plus just his astral evade, all that stuff I think would be just such a pain at R2. I don't know how many Mystic T6CC I have. I know I've got 2. I don't know if I've got the third one formed yet. But I just, if I did pull him, I would probably buy one more bundle deal, just so I could take him up to R2. Howard the Duck is another one that's in that. That wouldn't be bad. Don't think I'd buy a deal to take him to R2, but I do know that I've got 3.5 tech T6CC, so it wouldn't be too long, and I probably would take him to R2. I debated taking Omega Sentinel up to R5 because I was going to use her in war. She's good for this, this BG meta. Decided against it. Ended up going into war with Iron Man instead of Omega Sentinel. And he's already R5. Trying to think of who else is in it. I can't remember the others. Let me go ahead and I can pull it up here. Let's see what we've got. Let's put this up to where it can be seen. There we go. So MCOC 7-star loyal champions. Let's go to images. There should be a image here of the oops, that's probably why. There we go. So loyalty, yeah, I don't really, Storm is okay. I do have Storm Pyramid X as a 7-star. To me, I wish they were mutually exclusive, one or the other. Vision Arcus wouldn't be bad. Black Cat wouldn't be bad. So, to me, Void, I would think would be a win. The only one I really wouldn't want would be Storm. I think she'd still be good. She'll definitely, put out a lot of damage. Very, very strong in certain matchups, but just not one of those champs I'm going to use very often. I think the other ones, would love to awaken Mordo, would love to awaken Void, love to awaken Arcus, just to get that annoying, tenacity. So he shrugs off debuffs every once in a while. And, to me, I prefer lower sig than higher. Lower, it's a lot more random, and you have to really be more careful. When it is a high sig one, you can kind of predict when it's going to happen and know what's going to occur. So to me, like I said, I think if I could get a lower sig awaken there, really don't know much about Black Cat. I know what she's capable of, but haven't ever really used her. Got her late as a 6-star. So really, I think I've got her at R2 at the moment. Haven't really ever ranked her up. Haven't ever really learned her. So, and she's been good for a couple of the BG metas, but I think I've had better champs that have just been better for it than her. So several good ones in there. I think if I pulled her as a 7-star, it would definitely be something that I'd want to give a shot, try her out, see how she does. And I don't know enough about her right offhand without looking her up on AMA to know how important her awaken ability is. I'm assuming it's important, but, not entirely sure. let's see how annoying he's going to be. And of course he won't switch. Of course not. May just wait till special threes. Slow fight. We'll try this again. Probably evade out. Encounter. There we go, he switched. Now, of course, 2 hits left. All right, last set of champions for this arena. Finish up about 3.35. Yeah, I'll have to do one more run of 5 stars later. Finish this arena off, and then we'll finish off. Jump over to the 6 stars. Wow, it's really taken me almost 40 minutes to just run my 5 stars. Sorry, I'll eventually get used to not running recoils again. With this being the first war of season, I think it's 44. It's going to take me a while to readjust. I love the 2 weeks war is in downtime. Just having recoils on the entire time makes AQ so much quicker and easier. Makes arenas so much quicker and easier. Makes a side quest quicker and easier. Makes event quest quicker and easier. And it's not so much the cost. I would pay the cost if they had quick sets, kind of presets for your masteries, so that I can just hit, want to run recoils. It's just one button. I want to, turn recoils off. It's another button to load whatever mastery preset that I want. That to me, I would switch. I would pay the, 100 units, whatever it is each time, just to make it quick and easy. Let's see, what do we want to do first? Let's do the 6s, because I can probably run those. Oops, not 7 stars, 6 stars. Probably run them again later. I think my wife's going to be out of town for a bit. She's going to her mother's. So may be able to run these again later tonight, depending on when she gets back. We'll see how far along here we get before, since I know people are now showing up to work, before I get called away. Oh, I mistimed that. And of course, let's just finish this off. And there we go. Domino with any champ other than a couple of the tech champs is just another one of those champs that's a pain to fight. Even the thing that I hate, especially in battlegrounds, fighting against her, when you don't have a champ that is immune to ability accuracy reduction. You just take so much chip damage from her critical failures. It's kind of silly. You can have the perfect fight where she doesn't touch you at all. You're able to pull off every intercept. You don't have to block any hits, and you can still finish the fight at half health. To me, I understand it. I understand the rationale behind it. I understand the reasoning for it. I just don't like fights that are like that. And yes, I understand, to kind of quote BG a little bit, it's a game of rock, paper, scissors. You got to make sure that you have the right counter for the situation, but you can't always have the right counter for the situation. And being punished that severely by like a domino. I know there's been a couple, high ranked magics, and even one of the BG metas, you had magic. She gained a couple furies, and that limbo damage would just tear you up. And there's, outside of running Gladiator Hulk, very little you could do about it. So I think after placement today, well, I'll wait until my war assignment. I'm trying to think if... Come on, back into the corner. There we go. Let's see if we can get a big one. Yeah, this should finish him off. Yeah, would have been nice. I want to see that crit. I love using Rintra, and if I can get a crit on that second hit of a special 2 with a lot of the ruptures up, really can get some big damage. I've been able to in wars a couple times pull that off, where you kind of just get a 300k second hit of the special 2. It's a little overkill, but it's fun. I love seeing those big yellow numbers from time to time. And there we go. Really thought about, there's a couple champs that I really debated between on using my Ascension on. Ended up going with Herc, like I've said before. But, Scorpion was one of them. Would love to have a Ascended Scorpion. Herc, of course. Hulkling was another that I really thought about. Next one is probably going to be Kate. I use her a lot in almost every BG meta. She's not the greatest for this one. You just have to be really careful. But I think she would benefit greatly, and I know we've got, I think, one Ascended Kate in our BG for, our battle group for Alliance War and Alliance Quest. I think there's one. She would be fun. Of course you could do Doom. I don't think he's going to make it as a 7-star anytime soon. I did think about Rintra as well, just to make him a little bit beefier, a little bit tankier. Not sure how wise that would be. He's already pretty beefy and pretty tanky as is. So, a bunch of them that I'd like to, and I hope the Ascension Dust is something that they give out on a fairly regular basis. I'm hoping that, it's not a once every 4 months we get enough to ascend somebody. That's probably how they're going to play it. Or, that it's not always locked behind a paywall. Like I said, I don't mind buying deals. I don't want to be forced into it every single time to get stuff that would be useful. And, Cassie is a champ that I'm really starting to try and learn to play more and more. She is very, very useful for this Alliance War season. The fact that she doesn't gain buffs, the fact that she is global and can place a lot of debuffs on there becomes really useful in several different matchups. We had one this war that probably she would have been best for. We kind of struggled with one fight a little bit, found something that would work with a champ that was assigned. But, Cassie is just one of those champs that I think as the season goes on, we're going to see more use out of her, both on attack and our defenders using it. The team that we're going against, may see a ban or two. I know this war, our opponent PYCB banned Silk. I expect to see quite a bit of that. I think we'll see a lot of bans on Hulk. He is just so strong, and then I believe he is a global attacker as well. Just being able to overcome some of the nodes. The thing that I like on the global attackers is, you can take the hazard shift nodes with them fairly easily. You've got that damage over time reduction, 35% for each debuff. So, you get somebody like Cassie, Silk, if she's not banned, they can place a lot of debuffs on there, and you're actually regenning from, the hazard shift nodes. And, they pretty much just take it completely out. You still have to fight fairly aggressive, and if you're not, you can at least, let's try that again. If the defender is not, being that aggressive, you can hit into the block and get the 5 withers up fairly easily. So, those global attackers are just so nice to use. Was able to use one this war with Angela, but there wasn't any. I didn't really need to use that ability, and she shrugs off the debuffs anyway. So, as far as that goes, not the greatest there. But let's see. Let's go this way, and we'll see how the season goes. Wasn't looking good for us this first war, unfortunately. It is the standard for Loki first war of the season. Let's mess up. Fortunately for me, I wasn't one of them. I want to thank the planners. I think Trevor did the planning for this one. As far as I'm concerned, excellent job. I liked the fights that I had. A little tricky, but nothing that was too terrible to have to worry about. That Kitty on the Deja Vu Prowess node, where she gets 50% of a bar of power every time a Prowess effect is removed, was a little bit of a pain. Caught me by surprise a little bit when I threw that first special one with Iron Man and went from below bar power to just short of a special 3. Wasn't quite expecting that, but got through it. The APOC after that, very similar nodes, but that was aggression prowess there. Wasn't too bad. My concern with that fight was I wasn't sure if, when I removed the aggression prowess buffs, if those were going to count and give power. Fortunately, they did not. It was just the 2 that he started the fight with natively that kind of counted against me as far as that goes. And then, the other 2 fights on Path 7, really weren't fights that took too much advantage of the nodes they were on. They did put Shuri on the knockdown protection node. So, that's where Angela came in. She can parry those, non-contact medium hits. And then the last fight was Shuri against Tatuma. I don't have, to me, that's kind of a fun fight. You can't really parry to get openings, but you just kind of let him hit into your block till he throws a heavy, counter it, rinse and repeat. easy to evade and easy to counter special 1. That's just a fight where I'm just throwing a lot of special 1s, getting the critical damage up. And there, and just going that way. It was a fairly quick, fairly easy fight. I only had 4 fights, which, I don't mind. I know a lot of people want more war fights. They want that challenge. I'm fine with 4. So, Trevor, Clown, BWF, if you're listening, I'm fine with 4 fights. It's probably better for our battle group and the alliance that way. If you assign more, that's perfectly fine as well. I'll take them and do my best at them. But as I've said many times in the past, war is not my forte. To me, I think outside of Arena here, my most successful game mode is Alliance Quest. I can run that and, don't mind being the first one in. Don't mind taking the shared fights there. Don't mind taking bosses when I have the energy or the time. To me, I'm fine with that. There's not a whole lot of pressure there. If I die, I die. We get free revives. Even if I had to pay for them, it's not like it's much. So, to me, I like the low stress game modes that I can feel successful at. I hate dying, even in Battlegrounds. I'm kind of at the point in Battlegrounds where I try to reach every season. I just want to hit the Gladiator circuit. I don't care, it would be nice if I was good enough to feel like I could push to like Celestial 5. But the overall goal is just to hit Gladiator circuit. And hey, OG Highline, how are you? Is just hit Gladiator circuit, and after that, really the points don't matter to me, but I still get so, I found myself last night getting so worked up, and I was even, 1-2 in a row, but I was losing matches, and, to me, I feel kind of like, if I'm not perfect in a lot of matchups, the other person's going to be, and that's usually how it works. I've had several matches where I finish at like 97%, and the other person will finish at 100%, perfect health, and it'll be a fight that, that I thought was a very bad matchup, and I know they're not modding, and I know that it's just, that is the frustrating part to me, and, it just gets my blood going, it gets me mad. I tend to run BGs when my wife's not in the house, and really no one's in the house. I will, and I hate almost to say it, but I do pull, taters a little bit there with my frustration. I will yell out loud. I will kind of scream at myself, and it is just, there's part of me that wants that perfection that, I don't like losing. I don't like not, I go into fights and I have a good plan in my head and know exactly what I'm going to do, how I want to do it. And the second that plan doesn't work, my brain, just something with it just says, oh, you're screwed up, and starts getting mad and getting tense. And, in this game, I have found that you can't be tense in fights. I tell people all the time, I suck at intercepting when I have to. If you don't put, an intercept node on there, if you don't, it's not like this meta where you can't stun and you kind of have to intercept more. I can intercept no problem. You'll watch me here in Arena. You'll see me in Alliance Quest. Intercepting there, no problem at all. I don't mind backdraft intercepting. Just straight up getting some intercepts in. You make me have to on a node, and I'm going to screw it up more times to get hit in the face, on a regular basis. It's just that little bit of pressure I put on myself. I start getting tense, not relaxed. It doesn't flow. So, And it's that way with a lot of the nodes. And I think that, has been more my issue in war than anything. I fight tense. So that, they just don't flow. You know, I think it affects, even, when I'm fighting tense, my dexes are a little bit slower. And that's been kind of my issue a lot with this meta in Battlegrounds. It's not so much, the initial fact that I can't parry to start off a fight. It is when I'm dexing, I'm getting the dex off a little late and I'm ending up accidentally parrying a lot. So, I think just things like that, just if I can fight relaxed, if I can sit here and just mindlessly say, okay, I know what I'm doing, fights go so much better. And I just haven't gotten to that point yet with war or even Battlegrounds that I can be that successful at it. I find myself with the same issues and kind of like new content and some of the Ever stuff. I find myself thinking, okay, and the trap for me is I'll watch MSD or, Drew or Legacy or Mike, all these guys that are so great at the game. I'll watch them go through the content, very little issues, and I just can't do that. I watch, I think I just recently reran the Gauntlet. I think my fourth run through it. And, I'm sitting there thinking, to myself, I've watched MSD do it completely itemless. I've watched KT do it pretty much. I don't think he used any revives, maybe just a couple near the end because he got, impatient. I've watched others that just kind of go through it. No big issue, 3-4 revives. Streaming is new. I used to do war videos on a fairly regular basis, but, with KT when he moved, that was kind of the time that I'd watch live streams. I'd watch the replays of others. And since he kind of moved out, left England and went back to his home country, there was that gap in there. And I thought to myself, hey, my workday doesn't start typically until about 11 or 12 a.m. Eastern time. I work from home. I grind arena or do BGs in the morning. I might as well do it and see, how it goes. So very, very new at it, very rough at it. Hopefully it'll get better over time. But, I appreciate you stopping by and at least saying hi. So yeah, I would love to be like they are. I tell people, I'm kind of the old man of the game. I am much older than most people that play this. So it would be nice to say I had young fingers and, young reflexes. That's kind of my built-in excuse. I am at best mediocre. So, I grind arena so that I can use unit man and not go broke doing it. And that's really, I don't think I've missed arena milestones in years. I think, even when I'm on vacation, I tend to, if my wife and I are in a hotel or something like that, there's usually downtime. She's watching TV, we're watching a movie, something like that, and I'll just do it that way. It's just so quick and easy. It's not quick right now because of no recoils, but I think the next time that I will miss any milestones in arena is going to be next May. We're going on a cruise. I may still be able to do it there. I don't know what the internet on the ship will be like, but I can foresee times that I'm, sitting on you know, on the deck of the ship, you know, at the pool or something like that, you know, as we're out at sea. And, you know, if the Wi-Fi there is good enough, I'll probably, you know, take advantage and grind some arena and, you know, do that. I have a feeling I'll have to do Alliance Quest and Alliance War. I'm hoping that the Wi-Fi is at least good enough to do that. I don't know when the season is around that time frame. Oops. Hopefully it'll be an off season. You know, having to worry about Alliance War while on a cruise may not be the best deal, but fortunately, it will be, you know, in countries that I know have good internet access that I can always do it when we hit ports. That is the only nice thing about the new war structure is it does give some flexibility in the timing of when you can attack. You kind of got that 48-hour period in there that, you know, even if you can't go right away, you know, gives the planners a little bit of time that first night to plan things out. You know, and then you've got, you know, a good amount of time that you're able to sit back and plan with your fellow BG mates on when you want to go. You know, so you're not having to boost that often. We did last season. We didn't do a very good job of coordinating that first season with this new timing. I'm hoping this season, with a season in our back pocket and practice, that we do it a little bit better. But we'll see. This first war was good. I only had to boost once. You know, we'll have to buy the 1,000 unit deal at the end of the event quest next month to afford more champion revives or champion boosts. Yeah, you know, I think the thing that keeps me grinding arenas is live streams. Like I said, I do a lot of it in the morning, so I'll put on, you know, Brian streams in the morning, and just typically while I'm sitting at my desk waiting for other people to show up to work, I'll grind the arenas then. That's really the only way I can do it. This is helping. You know, if I have to sit here and talk while I grind arena, definitely makes it easier to stay awake. I just wish, you know, I don't know if you were on here when I was talking about it, but, you know, I would love for mastery presets to be a thing. I would love for them to announce that in an hour. You know, that way it would make it so much, oh, come on, so much easier to grind arena. You know, just being able to switch back and forth between mastery builds. I run recoils in every game mode except for Alliance War, and the, you know, month Alliance War is active is miserable. You know, so I have 2 weeks of joy every 6 weeks without having to shift around too much. If there was presets, I would gladly pay, you know, 50 to 100 units for the mastery changes. I don't want them to be free. You know, I think there does need to be a barrier where they do charge for it, but, you know, just not having something that's that quick and easy. And it's not that painful. Yeah, he's going to evade. You know, it's not that painful to switch them, but, you know, it's just such a clunky interface. You know, having to, you know, tap in and out of each item. And then, of course, you know, not paying attention, you mess up, you know, you buy 5 levels of something you only meant 4. You got to wipe everything and reset it instead of just removing one, you know, from that stack. It is just always been a little clunky. Always, you know, they haven't really done anything with it in years. I think I started playing this in maybe 2016, 2015, something like that. The interface really hasn't changed. They removed some of the coming soon masteries, but other than that, they haven't touched it. You know, it would be nice to either see new masteries, see presets, something that they do to change it. Oh man, the Gladiator Circuit last night. This one is fun. You know, frustrating. I think first day that I went at it, which was of course Wednesday, I won one. I think I won my first one and then lost 6 or 7 in a row. and then just was so frustrated I gave up, put it down, was mad as a hornet. Because even the fights that I would put somebody into a fight that I struggled against and think, okay, well, they're not going to be able to get out of it. And, they'll finish full yellow bar and I'll die in 30 seconds. It was one of the most frustrating things that I had run across. Did win my last two in there and kind of stopped. I think for this one, I'm not worried about placement in the gladiator circuit. I'm just going to run the 48-hour milestones just to get that, those extra units out of it, or tokens out of it. It's, like I said, not my favorite game mode. I'm a little more too tense, a little bit too high strung most of the time for that. But, I enjoy it. I enjoy the, and the thing that I didn't like a whole lot this time is I actually enjoy the ladder and working my way up. You give me milestones to hit and I'm much more willing to go after it. I'm a completionist in games that I do. I like completing all content. I don't care to ever really be the best. Let's see, it's definitely frustrating for me for now. I haven't had a chance to actually figure it out. Yeah, but the wife is at work today. There you go. Mine is traveling to see her mom today. So, and I've got a light schedule at work, so I will definitely be in there to kind of take advantage of some of the free time. But, to me, I'd rather have milestones and things to go after that way. So I kind of miss that in the grind to the gladiator circuit. It was nice to get all those rewards for just running 5 matches. So it was, I can understand both sides of the equation and why they do it. I know for those upper end players, they want to get to the gladiator circuit. They want to push hard to get up into, Celestial 1, 2, 3. I've got several of them in the Alliance that do that. To me, I don't mind the grind. I like it. It keeps me playing it probably more than I have now. Once I hit that kind of 300,000 point milestone in the solo quest for it, I kind of really slow down. I was hoping to time that right. So, I just, right now I'll just sit back and I'll run the 48-hour events when they pop up. All right, I think I'm going to run a couple more and then I'm going to have to jump. I've got somebody who needs some help with a project at work, so. And then I actually did schedule myself a little bit of time so that I can watch the live stream from Kabam later today. I'm sure there's going to be a bunch of people streaming after that, kind of to discuss and go through whatever announcements they make. I know 8.3 is coming in October, so I expect to have that the second week in October. I like to see what quality of life improvements that they're going to make. We've seen the champ announcements with Werewolf by Night, who looks awesome. I like the artwork on that. Morbius, which, is going to be very, very common to see. So I'm hoping it's not too much of a pain on defense, and that they make him, a fairly well-balanced champ right from the beginning. Not really sure what else they've got up their sleeves. I know there will, be some talk probably about the setup and some of the events coming up later, in Vancouver with the meetup, which I'd love to have gone to. but unfortunately I've got to be on site for work that week, and just prevented me from going up there. I know a good portion of the 4 Loki gang is going to be there, of course supporting Andrew and Legacy. I think both those guys are going to have a good time and do a good showing in the brawl. Hopefully one of the two of them wins it. But I think there's probably 14, 15 of the Alliance mates going to be there. I'd love to be there to meet them all in person. And actually did have tickets to go, but had to cancel those plans for the thing that unfortunately pays my bills. All right, yeah, I'll just finish off these last couple rounds of 6 stars and then call it a stream. Let's get some practice trying to use AA on Absorbing Man. AA is another one that isn't really great for this current meta in Battlegrounds. He can do it. You kind of have to wait that initial 12 seconds out though. So, he's a little slower. And by that time, with 12 seconds gone by, they've got 2 or 3 prowess up by the time you can get your first debuffs on. If you're really lucky, you get a bleed or 2 on that first parry heavy. Then you can parry heavy again. Get a couple poisons hopefully. But you're starting to run out of time on the timer at that point. So really hard to say whether you can get enough neuros up before you can't parry again for another 12 seconds. And then of course your debuffs are going to drop off. So, really hard to get it in there. I've seen people do it, and they usually time out. Some fights, if you can get somebody that has a heavy attack that's fairly easy to counter with a heavy. Torch is another one. I've seen people use them. And I think I've got Torch in my deck, but that's primarily because I was running into issues finding somebody for Dooms. Torch is a timeout on Doom in this meta. But, he can do enough damage that hopefully, you can out damage the other person. I think right now in my deck, I'm running 8 tech and maybe 9 tech champs. Got a ton of mystics in there. I think I've got like 7. For you, one of the champs that I have found that works really well is Symbiote Supreme. He's a little slower, but if you're running Mystic Dispersion, you can do Special 3, Special 2, Special 3, Special 2 fairly easily, and fairly quickly. I've used him for, he's kind of right now my go-to for Gallon fights. You wouldn't think he'd work great, but, I get through him. It's not the cleanest fights in the world. I usually end about 50 or 60% health, but I have found, to me with this meta, finishing is, with taking damage is better, than 50% of the people and 50% of the fights that I face. If you can find ways just to get through the fight, 1, survive, no matter how much damage you do. 2, if you can somehow manage to kill them, no matter how much damage you take, that's kind of the next step of it. And then you can do the Legacy and the Mike and all them where you can finish in perfect health and still kill things in 60 seconds without, champs that remove prowess. Sigil Witch, yep, another one that does a excellent job in this meta. Just kind of put her back into the deck. Haven't really tried her out. I used her in the as I was working my way up, through the ladder. Used her a lot. I think she was a little bit easier there. And even in the first meta of this one, where you could at least, as the prowess built up, you could at least parry as the fight went on and then drop that special 3. I think, yeah, she's another one. Unfortunately, a lot of the good counters for this meta, I only have at rank 3. It eliminates a lot of my rank 5s. It eliminates, some of my rank 4s that I really like to use. But, you know, let's see. I think I've only got 7 stars to run, and I'll run those later. I don't even know where I'm at in Battlegrounds. I think 140-ish points, something like that. 131. So, it's been a mixed bag, a bunch of losses, some wins intermixed in there, but, do some of that later. I think right now I am going to end it there. Been going about an hour and a half, about an hour and 15 minutes, I guess. Do have to jump in and make a few phone calls. So want to thank you for stopping by and anybody else who stopped by and just kind of lurked. Going to try and do this, like I said, on a regular basis in the morning. So if you stop by and want to say hi, if nothing else, just throw it on in the background while you're getting ready for work or whatever. Would greatly appreciate it. Other than that, do want to thank you and hope you have a great day.